I think it was the last time we crossed paths is when Darby and Sting decided to fly out to use my Cadillac for one of the pay-per-views last year. As people at home may or may not know, Darby Allin loves to do his cinematic entrances, especially at the pay-per-views, and film really cool montages, and Nolan has always helped out with that. Sting and Darby flew out all the way to California to borrow my one car. I'm like, you probably could have rented one somewhere else, but flattered. And, it came out, we filmed. Well, I got to speak with you a little bit while they were running up and down the track with the car. I got to meet Sting. I got to meet Sting. I mean, I was like, you want to borrow my car and Sting's going to drive it? Cool. Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
I grew up fucking watching this dude. Like
that day was crazy. That was so surreal. Like it had to be even more surreal for you just watching him drive your car.
Oh, it was, not only did he drive it, he fucked up my brakes. I can't wait to see him in Vegas and talk some shit to him about it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
He put on the emergency brake that of course it was Sting that did it, this large man, strong dude, because I can't push that emergency brake down. That's why I never use it. He found a way to push it down. I had to find a way to release it, and it didn't release all the way because it had never been pushed down. To this day, I'm still having problems getting the parts and reworking the brakes right now. So I can't wait to see him in Vegas next week and talk to him about it. And the moment where I put my foot in my mouth, I played it cool the whole time until the end, and I put my foot in my mouth. We'll talk about that we'll talk about that when we have Sting on the podcast.
Yeah. You gotta get Sting on here.
Oh, absolutely.
That day was I had met Sting. That day was cool because I had met Sting at the cinematic tapings when they filmed the first ever cinematic match with Darby versus Brian Cage and Ricky. God, that was such a cool thing. That was such a cool thing. That was so cool. And I met him then, but it was real brief. And he was so new to the company then, and it was just like a, hi, how's it going? That was it. But so the second time I saw him was when I was with you, and that was totally different. He was one of the bros, just chilling with us, cracking jokes. That was the first day where it's damn, Sting is the fucking man. He is so cool. Yeah, my brief interaction with him, or that interaction that day, was fucking awesome. He was, very cool. He introduced himself, at my house, and I was on my driveway, I'm shaking hands with Sting, and I'm like, right, play cool, man. He's at my house. He's at my fucking house. It was really cool. I mean, it was. Not to get too far off topic, but it's one of the cool things about befriending Darby too is my son is a huge Darby Allin fan now, and he watches. The first match he watched a pay-per-view against Brian Cage, Darby lost, and my son started crying. He didn't understand. That's and then that's great.
Flash forward. Darby's the TNT champion last time he comes by the house. Obviously, he brings the belt with him. My son gets to talk to one of his heroes that he watches on TV and hold the belt, take pictures with him in the belt. I'm like, he doesn't get it yet. No money can buy that. No. I'm like, he doesn't get it yet, but because he just turned 5 this year. Later on in life, he's going to be able to, it'd be like you or I, or I guess for me, my era would have, at that age, would have been Bret the Hitman Hart coming over to my house with the Intercontinental title. That's right. That's fucking insane, right?
he'll appreciate it in a few years. He will definitely. Well, on that note, you're saying, I've there's so much cool shit I've done with him that money can't buy. Right. You know what I mean? Even just going to tapings, being backstage. Everyone who's backstage, is works for the company, is a wrestler, has a position. I'm one of the only dudes who's just. Not just back there, but it's money can't really buy that. Just being in there in Sting's locker room with Darby and him, chilling while they're doing their makeup, that shit's that stays with me. And it's cool too because when this was before Sting was coming or anything, but Darby's known I'm diehard Sting fan. That's my hero. And so I told him once, I'm if Sting ever comes to AEW, you got to make sure I'm there, for his debut or whatever. So that was I don't know, months before Sting ever came. So fast forward, I wasn't living here in Atlanta yet. I was living in California in LA, and it's 2 days before a random Dynamite in December. And he's like, yo, come out to this Dynamite on Wednesday. And I'm like, why? He was like, it's gonna be a good show. I'm like, okay, but like that's gonna be like $700 tickets on 2 days notice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be that good of a show. Watch on TV. He's like, dude, just come. Like, you gotta come. He literally like called me. He was like, dude, just come to the show. Come on. Like, it's gonna be so sick. It's gonna be a fun week, you know? And I was like, all right, whatever. Bit the bullet, bought the tickets. That was when the show Sting came out. And it was so cool because he made sure I was there. He didn't tell me, like, because if he would have told me, I still would have geeked out. But like, he let me, like, I have a video of it. Like, when Sting walks out, I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it now. Yeah, I like freaked the fuck out. I'm so, and you know, like,
let you be a real
like,
fan about it and see it for the first time too. That's cool.
Yeah, like that was so cool. Like, so cool.